It's Cody Langford, and this is It's Fancy Letterpress Studio. What I'm going to do now is do a quick tutorial on how to create a photopolymer plate. So, the first step is to have your negative made. You take your digital art, you go ahead and you send it to the company that's going to go ahead and make your film. For my plate maker, what I had to request was the film be right reading emulsion up, which means the emulsion is on this side, not the back side, and that way the side that's black comes in contact directly with the plate. Now I use a boxcar deep relief base for my presses, and so I get a photopolymer from Boxcar, and this piece has been trimmed down to size, which will basically fit right here, and it's going to get exposed by my homemade exposure unit for about 3 minutes and 15 seconds to 3 minutes and 25 seconds. So all depending on how much detail and how much shoulder I need on the actual artwork. Alright, now what you have here is my second camera. Basically it's showing my Letterpress Studio. I have some ink that I mixed on a plate for a job that I'm doing later that's going to get set up, but for right now we're focused on making our photopolymer plate, which your photopolymer will come in a black bag, which is light sensor, which holds out all the light, so no light can get in. I'm going to take my one piece of photopolymer that I'm going to use. I like to just put it in a box in case any holes are made in the bag, and then I'll go ahead and set this in a cool place that is actually over here in the dark underneath that press for now until I have a time to go down and put it in my actual flat file. So now we're going to go ahead and go over to the plate maker, which the plate maker is way in the back where the light is, back in all that mess, and we will make a plate. Alright, here's my plate maker. Basically what I've done to it is I took the glass out, and this is Creen. You can buy it from boxcarpress.com. But what the Creen does is it lets the vacuum table, which is right here, suck down really tight. I went ahead and I rewired it so only my compressor current turns on. I went ahead and I rewired it so only my compressor turns on this FT18V flip top. I no longer use the actual bulb that was in it because it was for offset printing. And so what I want to do, I'm going to carefully move these. I'm going to go ahead and take the protective coating off of my photopolymer. I'm going to take this, and emulsion is going to be down, so when I read it, it's going to be backwards. And I am just going to place that on there. And from there, I close the lid. I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to turn on the vacuum. And with my press, I have to go ahead and let it suck down. Kind of have to help it just a little bit to get a good suction, just because it used to have a piece of glass on top. Alright, what I also have that's not so pretty is a homemade exposure unit, which is just a series of black lights that are sitting about an inch to almost an inch and a half off of the plate itself underneath. This is going to get refined, so it will look nice, but it's wired to basically a power strip that I turn on. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my timer, and I am going to monitor this. There's the black light. I'm going to go ahead and monitor this for 3 minutes and 20 seconds so I can get a nice exposure time. And when I come back, we will pull the plate out, and we will go downstairs and wash it out for a couple minutes. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the exposure unit. It's been about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to unplug it and remove it from the surface. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the vacuum. Let this open up. And inside, we have our plate. If you can see it, which you probably can't, ever so slightly, you can see the A and the B in here. And they're a little bit clearer, and same thing with over here. Basically, those are the letters that will be hard, and everything else will get washed out. So let's go down to the washout. Alright, I'm now down in my basement, and my basement is where I have a nice utility sink that I wash my plates out in. So I'm going to go ahead, throw the plug in, put some water in it, and set my plate in. You'll see that I am now holding the plate with my gloves, and you can actually see the A and the B in it, and it comes out clear. Let me switch to my other camera so you can see an overhead shot of the actual washout. Alright, the focus is not the best, but you can see that I have my photopolymer plate in my sink. What I have here is I have a nice, really soft nylon brush. And so that's what we're going to basically brush off the, we're basically brushing off the dissolving photopolymer. And so just very gently, I'm going to switch this back and forth. And this is our front and our back for the business card that we're doing. And so I'm just gently massaging the plate in a circular fashion, or you can kind of make it fishtail back and forth. And what that does is it starts to loosen up. You can see how it's getting kind of foggy. All this that's getting foggy, that's ready to come off. And this right here, that's clear, well, that's what's hardened. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this out. I'm going to stop the video for a second, and when I come back, you'll see it washed, and we'll be upstairs with it drying. What I do from there is I have one of these. I have a sponge roller that I purchased at Home Depot. It's a really super fine sponge, the finest sponge that I was able to find. And so I get it just a little wet, and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it out. And when I'm done washing out the plate, I'm going to drag it just once across the face to get all the big water drops off. So until then, please be patient. Alright, we're back. That washout took approximately 5 minutes. Let me grab the plate really quick. Now I didn't wash it out completely edge to edge, so there is still a little bit of residue on the edges. That will all be cut off. I did roll it a couple times with my roller. What I want to do is make sure that this dries thoroughly, and once it's thoroughly dry, I could go ahead and re-expose it for about 8 minutes, and it's going to get it good and plenty hard for us to put into our press. And that is how you make a photopolymer plate.